Hey folks, I think today's March 26th, and another composting video for you. And this is a bit of a follow-up to the last one that I did where I showed you how I'm taking my staging bin material, running it through the shredder, pulling it from the shredder up into bin 1, and over each month I'll flip it over and we'll just keep flowing the bins that way. But something I wanted to try, and I want to show you because it actually worked out really well, was I wanted to know if I could shred material that was further along in the composting process and see if I could actually get it out on the beds in a more usable fashion. And I'll show you what it looks like the before and after, and kind of my mindset around why I'm doing this. This bin here is empty now, and the reason it's empty is because I've already run this through the shredder. I'll show you that product in a minute, but I wanted to bring you over here because bin number 4 was in very similar shape to that bin. Let me pull a little bit of this cover back. Real chunky material. Now I've already thrown some of this onto my beds out in the garden that needed a mulch layer. Not really expecting it to do a lot of soil feeding this year, but it will keep the ground covered. It'll break down over time. By next year, it'll be a very much more mature material on the soil to feed plants in a more functional manner. But right now, it's just going to kind of keep the soil covered. And those beds already have pretty mature soil, so it really doesn't need the extra feeding this year. But I don't like having overly chunky material. So I wanted to know, can I actually take material that's 4 months along, pretty well colored, and run it through the shredder to make a material that is more soft and loamy and fluffy? And yeah, let me walk you over there and show you what it looks like now. Truth be told, it was a bit of a labor job because I had pretty much every garbage can, my wheelbarrow, 5-gallon buckets, anything that was a vessel, I filled with that material, walked it down here to run it through the shredder, and actually, super coincidental, it basically filled up every single material bin that I had with the material, and it was all staged and ready to go. And I actually managed to flush it all through the system, one, without it jamming anything up, which can be a bit of a risk with one of these things when the material is kind of damp. It doesn't want to, it shreds material just fine, but because it's a little heavier, it's harder for it to, blow it on through the system. Gas. I didn't even use a full tank of gas. So to show you what I had, all these bins were filled, including three of those little guys. So 3 garbage cans, a wheelbarrow, Sterilite container, 5-gallon buckets. I set it up through here. I fired it on in. And that's what I created. Look at how soft and loose that is now. That is really well broken down. Now, is it fully mature as compost just because it's in a smaller physical structure? Probably not. It has a lot of decomposing to do, but imagine what this was like when it was more intact and how much longer it was going to take to biologically and physically break this down into something more usable. Now, with the breaking down physically of the material, the bacteria and the fungi, anybody who wants to join the party when this is on a bed out in the garden, it's going to break down a lot faster now. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this worked through. I'm going to take probably tomorrow, maybe the day after, that other bin and run it through the system as well. This I'm going to take out to the garden right now, and let me now show you what that is being top dressed over. Now, I might not have enough material for what I'm hoping to get done. So today is 85 degrees. It's hot out. Tomorrow is going to be 55, and then tomorrow's overnight into Sunday morning, it's supposed to get down to 30. And my potatoes have finally popped the surface. So at 30 degrees, they're probably going to get popped and kind of burned a little bit. So I'm hoping to use up shredded material to create a thin layer on my potato beds where I see the plants coming up. 1, soil building. 2, frost protection. Let me show you what I got. So this is bed number 6 next to my garlic over here. There's, I think, Pontiac Reds in this bed, and that's just 2 5-gallon buckets of that shredded material on top. So 4 or 5 buckets should cover it up. And what I had in place, now this bed I think had a bit of compost added maybe last year, but when I pull things out of here, it kind of brings the gravelly native soil to the top. But we can see here if we kind of, right there is a potato plant starting to come up. His neighbors, I'm seeing them all over now, and I think that can get burned a bit. So that layer, which is maybe about an inch thick, should do a pretty good job of keeping this covered. And if we actually get the rain today that we're expecting, it should help tamp that down a bit and just create a nice good looking level surface. I'd say this spring so far has been a pretty bad time in the garden, to be honest. It just everything I've tried to touch hasn't turned out to be overly successful. This shredding material process has seemed to be working out pretty well. And the other thing that's going pretty well are my figs. In a previous video, I showed you my little greenhouse. I think I called that video Fig Propagation 2026. Had a couple things going on in that one. I showed you what I had going on, and I also took a cutting from my Celeste just because I wanted to, and I stuck it in a 5-gallon grow bag, 3-gallon grow bag with some, heck, that was unshredded homemade compost. Use a little bit of rooting hormone on it, and I'll show you the result of that, and I'll show you how the other figs are doing as well. So here's the greenhouse. Upper right there, those were, up there I had 28 Violetta de Bordeaux. I've moved them out there. I'll show you them in a minute. The rest is all Celeste, and up there now are my sweet potato slips that are trying to get established after I broke them off the plant. They need to develop better roots. They're going to stay in there for until mid-May, and then I'll break them all further down, stick them, let them root out for a couple weeks in individual cell packs, then transplant into the garden. But right now, we've got this top section. So each of these shelves is 30 plants, 3 by 10. This top shelf right here is 30 Celeste figs. Every single one has broken dormancy. Now, whether or not there's roots is another story. The heat and humidity in this greenhouse, I think, is encouraging more shoot growth. And I think what I'll do is, after our freeze Saturday into Sunday morning, Sunday I will pull all figs out of this greenhouse that have leaves and put them over in that little pseudo nursery area, because what I want to do is kind of take some of the heat and humidity pressure off of them, which is encouraging this leaf growth, and hopefully that'll give maybe the roots a better chance to catch up. Because if these things aren't rooting at this point, those leaves, they're probably pulling a lot of energy to get those leaves going, and if they had roots, it might be better supported. And I think I did that last year. I'll have to go back to my previous videos to see what I did, but I feel like as these things started breaking bud, I moved them out. And I think the only ones that are slow behind are some of these older, grayer pieces of wood. But I did look at this guy the other day, and it's hard to see, but right there is a tiny little piece of green, and that tells me he's awake. Now, one thing that I want to talk about while I'm here, this guy here, that is, okay, so that's not a grow bag, it was a 3-gallon plastic container we used before, but he broke dormancy, and when I pull on him a bit, he's resisting, so I've got to imagine he's got roots in there. So I'm really excited about that, and I think I'm gonna let him ride the whole season and see what he does. Again, he's gonna have to work through some of that undecomposed compost material. Gosh, if I were shredding that material prior to doing that little project, that would have been a hell of a lot better for him. But we work with what we've got. I'm not going to disturb him at this point. We're going to let him ride the whole season and see how well he roots out by the end. He may find a way into my garden or somewhere around the property. That might be my little guy. So yeah, I don't know what percentage I am right now as far as breaking bud on those things, but I've got to imagine I'm somewhere in the 90 to 95%. And I'm about to show you the Violette de Bordeaux. There were 28 of them in there. I think 27 of them did break so far. One, I can't quite see the little nub of green, but it's probably not long behind. How well they're rooted out, again, I don't know. Like I said, I wanted to get the plants out into the sun, take away some of that artificial heat and humidity from the greenhouse, and give them a chance to, hopefully, the roots a chance to catch up to those leaves. But yeah, you can see we got nice leaf systems, nice shoot systems on a lot of these. I think I might have actually seen a fig on one once, but maybe that's in the greenhouse. This guy right here is the only one that I haven't seen the green off of yet. Not concerned. What I may have to do though is I may have to take these things tomorrow and just put them in one of my random outbuildings here, just to give them a break from that potential freeze, maybe cover them up with a moving blanket or something, and then move them back out here. And these are my 3 gallons that I overwintered. For the most part, they stayed here over winter. They moved into the barn during the ice storm. and stayed there for a while. And they didn't. I took them. They didn't make it. I kept them out of the snow as well, and then I moved them out here maybe a week or two ago. I don't know why this guy woke up the way he woke up, but he did. Some of these guys, I don't know if these terminal buds got popped by the freeze, but you can see, for example, all of the green on some of these sides. Again, I'm not gonna be able to do much of this. I don't want to have to move these again in the next couple of days for this freeze, so I'm probably just gonna let nature take its course, see what happens. These are my, I think they're 14 elderberries. These I took cuttings from late December, early January for kicks and giggles, and I actually did a rooting job of them in a Sterilite container, so it was all of these in one, and then I broke them apart, put them out here, and this is the result. They're doing great. Happy with the way that worked out. Now, I mentioned a minute ago that things weren't going so well this spring, and the biggest challenges I've had have been a lot of my seed starting has failed. I had things, let me back up a bit. Things I've done in the past, methods I've used that have worked pretty well, are failing miserably this year, and I don't know if it's because I'm doing something different. Maybe I'm not paying enough attention. Maybe my watering regime is off. Something's not right with what I'm doing. Or some of the issues we've had when it comes to the weather this year have kind of messed things up. So for example, in March, in the early part of March, we had 2 non-consecutive days that hit 88, maybe 3. And then following that, we had 3 consecutive mornings that we woke up to 28, 25, and 28 degrees. So we would lose 60 degrees in 48 hours. I had multi-beds in the garden direct sowed where I would see growth popping, and then I came out the next day, all gone. Maybe it was birds, maybe I missed a watering session, maybe wind, maybe the cold, whatever it was. Everything that looked good for a minute, gone the next. So both my carrot beds I've had to redo, both my beet beds I've had to redo. My onion beds that I direct sowed didn't get great germination, but they did okay. They're slow to go right now. This year, am I worried about that? No. I'm more frustrated that my seed starting just isn't going well right now, and things that look pretty good under cover one day aren't looking good the next. And that's just nothing I'm really that used to. Luckily, we have a long season here, and anything that fails, something's gonna come out of the garden. I've got a ton of garlic that's gonna come out in 2 months. The strawberries are looking pretty good. The blackberries are looking amazing. The potatoes, I've got, on the same number of pounds of potatoes, I have many more beds than I had last year because I broke them down to smaller pieces. So I'm really excited to see if my yields are better on potatoes on piece size alone. The sweet potatoes, I wish my slips were in better shape, but they're not right now. I think the next 6 to 8 weeks of humidity, they just need to go in the ground in early June. Between now and then, as long as they fire off shoot systems that are really aggressive, I should be fine with those. I'm not worried about that. I just don't like the fact that I feel like things are touch and go with most of what I'm doing right now. So yeah, that's the garden update for late March. I didn't give you a full tour today because I'll probably push that off maybe until the 30th or 31st. I really wanted to show you that shredded material. That was really the highlight. And the figs I was really happy with too. So I hope you enjoyed seeing all of that. And I'm really excited to see what happens over the next 2 months for those, because come late May, early June, if those figs are out there for a couple of months, we may be ready to sell some plants. So until next time, appreciate you coming out. Take care.